just come up to what I consider the scariest part of the track, and that was the downhill double. Now, where this footpath is going now is not, as I remember, where the track went. The track was further over into this brush here. So we'd come down this fast straight. We're doing, I don't know how many miles an hour in a third gear. We were braking, and then we turned right. So it was a kink right just here, and then a kink left. And the kink left is this opening here, which you can see. I think that part is the same. And that leads in to a drop-off. Okay, not particularly troublesome drop-off, but down there is another footpath road that goes across it. This is not really going to come out on a camera, I'm sure, but that presented an opportunity for a double jump. Now, it's a reasonable distance, both in length and in drop, but the thing to remember is that we were turning, there was no run up to it. We were turning right, then immediately left. So we've got, probably the run up is from about here, and you're still leant over, and it's kind of rocky underneath, so it was slippy. So to get the run up to actually get over that second slope there, which is by that tree, so the downslope is the bottom of that tree there on the left. I'm looking at it now and thinking, wow, this is impossible. Now, in terms of who did it first, I can confirm to you it was Ismo Vekinen that did it first. I think in 88, I think. Jared Smith did it second. A few other people did it. I did it myself the next year a couple of times in practice, but it was scary because it was blind. You didn't really know where you were going, and you just got to get all of the drive in no run up at all whilst leant over. Now, I'm not even going to attempt to walk down there because that looks like I'm going to crash and burn myself, so I'll rejoin you at the bottom. So we're now at the bottom of the double, so that was the takeoff. Come down here, and here's the road that crosses it, and there's the downslope, and it doesn't look that much. I'm sure that some people will be looking at this and going, everybody would jump that, but believe me, it was difficult because of the lack of run up, and also the fact that there was no lift. It was heading downhill into it, so there was no way to actually get the bike going upwards. But if you did do this jump, it saved a lot of time because it would always get quite rutty down here and into this transition. So this transition here was always rutted, so if you cased it, you're casing it in ruts. But if you hop over there, you could brake a lot sooner for the next corner. So it was quite a time saving. Another view of the downhill double. Now, the track went down here and right. It's all overgrown now. And the track did change, from year to year. I raced here 6 different times, I think, and they did make slight changes each year. So I remember there being a right-hander here and then heading into a left-hander, but whether it went between those trees or up there, I don't know, and it's no longer recognisable. But it was always kind of dark here in the trees, and also if it was dusty, which it sometimes was back in the day, the dust would just kind of hang in the air, not really getting blown away in the trees, and then the sunlight would come through the gaps in the trees and just kind of flicker off the leaves. So it was always quite tricky for vision when you get in the woods here. But the dirt was always prime because this track was raced once a year for the GP, so it never got worn out. It was always just like topsoil. It's rare these days that we ever would ride on topsoil because it's always bulldozed and the topsoil's long since gone. But this was always good soil. That soil was always getting renewed every year by all the falling leaves, and so it was always prime. A few tree roots here and there, as you might expect, but again, because it didn't get used very often, it didn't actually dig up that much. It wasn't that rough. If you come to visit Namur, and I really recommend that you do, even if you came and watched here back in the day, that'll refresh your memory. If you've never got to watch here, then you should come and have a look. But there are signs here that are telling you where the track is going, but I'm not convinced that they are right. I think they're giving you a shortcut, because I'm pretty sure that we went down here. There were more drop-offs. It's a little bit sad that nature has claimed it back. It's just all overgrown, and you know, I've raced quite a few laps around here and I can't remember exactly where it went. I can remember where it went, but I can't recognise it now. It's all overgrown. But I'm pretty sure this is one of the drop-offs. I remember there being 2 drop-offs, and they were very difficult to learn. The whole track was difficult to learn because it was well over a 3-minute lap time, and so much of it looked the same. But one of these drop-offs, you could go off it reasonably fast, and the other one you couldn't, because it was just like it was steeper and it's a flat landing at the bottom, and it's very difficult. In the first year that I raced here, even with all the 2-hour practice sessions and the qualifying session, I still didn't know where I was going. I still didn't remember which drop-off was which. But this certainly was one of them, because I remember it being by the road there. And then there was another one further up. But the signs are saying for me to go right through there, but I don't think that's right. But hey, what would I know? So I was right in that is one of the drop-offs, and then the signposts take you the easy route through the less dangerous and less overgrown parts of the woodland. But that certainly was one of the drops there, which then raced along here, and we now pick up the signs again. So we drop down through here, but it is all very overgrown now, and you know, and in parts unrecognisable. And that's kind of sad, because I remember it in its heyday. I remember it as a fine motocross track, and banners everywhere and fans everywhere, and you know, wherever we went as well. This is a long track, as I said, over 3 minutes long, but wherever we were on the track, it seemed that the fans were like, you know, 5 deep at least. So there was always a lot of people here, even though it was actually terrible viewing. The only place you could see the riders for more than like 5 seconds was up in the Citadel. If you were down here, you'd see them flash past for 5 seconds, and that would be it. Right, I need my machete. We're now on the bottom straight, which used to be lined with a wooden fence on the left-hand side, because there's a big drop down there. But the way that the signpost had brought me is not how I remember getting onto this. I think the track is up in the jungle part there. That we used to drop down hard right up against a fence, then along this straight here, and down here. There's a big drop down there down to the road, which is probably why there was a fence there before, and maybe why they've now taken that down, that we no longer race here. But this was a fast section, but it was smooth, so it was a chance for rest. And this is heading down towards the very lowest part of the track by the Chalet du Monument cafe, another awesome, iconic part of the circuit. So it was fast, impossible to pass here. Yeah, you've got wooden sleepers in there, you probably can't see them. So the bank is retained by what's now kind of very rotten wooden sleepers. So those went along the high side of the cutout here. It just looks so narrow. You know, when you think the drop off is there and the bank is there, it can't have been any more than 3 meters wide. And one year they decided, probably just back there, to build a double jump. This would have been in about 85, I would think. And when I say build a double jump, it was just rubbish. They just 2 piles of dirt. You know, they were terribly shaped, but still quite a long way apart. And I remember I did double it. I think I was on I just switched to Kawasaki in 85. I was pretty good at jumps, so I managed to double it. But I can remember Andre Malher parked just off to the side here somewhere, looking at it, and then subsequently riders complained because it was a bit shit, if I'm honest, and they got it taken out. But stupid place to put a double jump anyway, because nobody could see it, because this was one of the least accessible parts of the circuit. There were no spectators here because you've got jungle up on the top there, and you've got big drop down to the road there. So I'll keep the camera on as I walk down here. So this was pretty fast. We were third gear, I suppose. It's downhill into here. Braking, always quite slippy. And this is where the track turns out of the woods and onto the tarmac road. Probably the most iconic part of the track.